Well, hello everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Hope and Healing Family Cafe. And I'd love to introduce and welcome today Tanaya Henry with Traveler on a Mission. Welcome, Tanaya.
Thank you for having me.
You're
I'm
so
excited.
welcome. You're so welcome. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Traveler on a Mission. How did this thing get started?
Okay, my name is Tanaya Henry, and I founded Traveler on a Mission. We got our official paperwork last year, this September. So we're a 501c3 designated by the IRS, and I started this nonprofit because as I was doing different street ministries with my church, I noticed a lot of times hygiene products was not on the list to be given out, and it's such a needed product and we use it all the time, but a lot of people don't have access to it. So I decided to start Traveler on a Mission. And the reason why it's called Traveler on a Mission is because it's not a stationary type of nonprofit. The whole premise is to go from community to community and also overseas to provide hygiene products. Currently, we're based out of Connecticut and we are serving the state of Connecticut. And we also service uh, two orphanages, one on the island of St. Kitts, British West Indies. It's a children's home there. They have boys and girls from the ages of 5 to 18. And the other one is on the island of Antigua, British West Indies, and they service just girls ages 5 to 18.
Wow. And so you collect donations of these personal care items and ship them over there?
Yes, so usually right now it's cheaper if I just fly with it. So when I go there
Okay.
and do a visit, yeah, so when I go there and do a visit, I bring them with me. Or if I know that I'm going, sometimes I ship it ahead of time. And then when I get there, I meet the shipment. And that's primarily to not have the orphanage incur the cost of the duties.
Yes.
Sometimes they get away with not being charged, and other times they do. So instead of going through the hassle, I'm not sure if you are familiar with the Caribbean and getting stuff off the shipyard.
Yes.
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 So
It's
it's
not easy.
um,
Yep.
yeah. So it's all day. You put in your
Mm.
full 8 to 10 hours waiting, and a lot of paperwork and standing in lines. So instead of having the orphanages do that, I do it for them. So I just make sure that I time it accordingly.
Fabulous. So I love your ministry and your mission. And what you've really done is developed a service that goes hand in hand and alongside with what was already an existing service. So rather than just kind of creating something new and separate, you partner with food pantries around the state and provide them with the personal care items. So what kinds of items are you supplying them with?
We do the traditional hygiene products, so toothpaste, toothbrush, deodorant, shampoo, but we also try to incorporate underwear, so socks, undershirts, bras, um, those items that are close to your body that needs to
Mm.
be, changed on a regular basis. But sometimes for larger families or people who are struggling, they may not have access to those items on a regular basis. So I do make sure that that's accessible, especially for the orphanage in Antigua. It's all girls, and girls need
Yes,
bras and such
yes,
things,
yes.
and it can be costly when you have to provide 30 bras,
Yes,
because their maximum capacity is 30
absolutely.
for each child. So they may not have to do 30, but 20 times at least five,
Mm,
so give chance to wash. That's a lot of bras.
that's
And it,
absolutely
it
right.
can add up. So, just imagine doing that with socks and different things. They do get clothes donations from a lot of people locally and overseas. So I don't really worry about the actual clothes, but the underwear I do.
Okay. See, again, that's what, when I'm thinking about what's so great about your service is people most often think about, okay, people have a need. So it's clothes and it's food. And we're fast to be able to kind of jump in with those things. But we haven't really gone down to that next level, which is to think about, okay, what else is missing that somebody else needs in their home. So I'm loving the fact that you're able to do the personal care items, but things like detergent that we don't think about, somebody would have a need for that. And then the, underwear and things like that that are so necessary. I think it's just so important. So I'm so grateful that you're doing it and helping the food pantries because I'm sure they get donations from time to time. At the shelters, we would often get, some toothpaste now and then, a few toothbrushes here and there, but it's nothing regular or consistent. And it generally wasn't enough to be able to take care of the need that was there at the time. So what you're doing is a really valuable service. I want you to know I appreciate the fact that you folks are doing this. So let's talk about, the country right now is in the grips of the coronavirus, COVID-19, and the families that are most in need are the ones that really concern me. Because again, as folks are in high anxiety, high stress, they're running to the stores, they're stocking up on the toilet, but they've, wiped out the shelves of food, toilet paper, all of those kinds of things. And families who are most in need don't always have the income to be able to do those things. They rely heavily. I mean, Connecticut is an expensive state to live in. And folks can be actually working and still not really be able to afford the basics of life. So they depend on food pantries for their food supplies, but also for these kinds of services that you're offering. What thoughts or advice would you have for families right now, particularly those who have needs?
For the families who have needs, um, don't panic. Would be my first thing to say to you. I know you're looking at your bank account and looking at the cabinet and looking at the news, and things might not seem to add up. But definitely don't panic. There are still pantries that are open and willing to serve. I would suggest that you call 211 and get the information from there, especially if you haven't used any of the pantry services before. Just call 211, see what they say about what pantries are open, if they have any information, and call the pantry directly. Since business has changed slightly on how they do business, how many people could come in, their amount of appointments they could take, if they're taking any appointments, and just be diligent in seeking out the information to see what's available. Each pantry has their own requirement, so it's hard to say do just X, Y, and Z, and that should be it. Since each one has a different requirement, you just need to find out before you go. Um, and also with with going to the pantries, just be patient. A lot of times when everyone is being self-absorbed and they do have to take care of their own families
Yes.
too, sometimes people don't think or care enough to be patient with someone who's in a new situation. So if this is your first time going to the pantry, just be patient with the process, be patient with the information that they're telling you and what you need to do, and just take it one step at a time. um, Sometimes donations don't come in for pantries
Mhm.
during this time because people are, keeping themselves afloat. So you just have to keep that in mind as well.
I think that's some great advice, and I want to kind of highlight one thing that I heard you say, and that is to call 211 and get up to date information, particularly if you're new or this is your first time having to use a food pantry. Because I know when I did a little research online, I just went online to see what the food pantry hours were, and some of them are not updated. They look as though they haven't changed, but they may have had to change because everybody's trying to adapt. So how are food pantries, physically adapting to this whole kind of sheltering in place, the number of people who can gather together? How are they making changes?
With the ones that that I deal with and I spoke to, they're just, a lot of them, their buildings aren't open, but they're still able to serve. So what doing is meeting people at the door. and getting them the food that way. So their staff is cut, so the process just takes a little longer to get the services. So instead of you coming in, sitting in a lobby, and waiting for your turn, you might be restricted into how far you could go into the building, how many people are in at that time, and just have things just shift a little differently.
And that again, I would imagine is part of why you are asking people to be patient too, because you may have to wait at the door and they bring you your food items and your personal care items to meet you at the door instead of being allowed to come in and sit down comfortably and wait. So those are some of the adjustments that do require us to have some patience.
Yes, it does. And it's new and it came, sometimes it might feel it came all of a sudden, the situation, which it has, because I looked actually this morning on the state of Connecticut website, and I saw that the governor is going to be making some other changes starting March 23rd about essential services and the businesses that provide essential services and those who don't. So they're really trying to do their best as a government to deal with the virus and keeping everybody healthy and safe. But on the same hand, people still have basic needs to be met.
Absolutely.
So there's definitely a juggling act that takes place during this time. And I think if the government is patient and understanding, and also the nonprofit sector is patient and understanding, and individuals do the same, we should work out with little bumps and bruises along the way, but it's just a point of truly being patient during this time.
Absolutely. I think this has been a major adjustment for so many people, and there could potentially be a lot more people in need of these types of services. I mean, folks who are in the restaurant business, who traditionally don't get paid very well, are now laid off, many of them, and many restaurants have completely closed. So I think it's important for us to keep in mind that, the person in your home, it could be the person next door to you, it could be the person down the street from you, may have additional needs in this time. So I'm reminded of that quote that says, am I my brother's keeper? And yes, we are. Used to talk about the fact that it took a village, right? Um,
Right.
it takes a village. We're supposed to help each other out. We're supposed to love each other and be there to support each other. So I'm thinking right now in terms of those folks who are, crazy couponers, and I've seen several of them on Facebook and other places, you know, tell me what could they do if they have stores and stores and stores of things that they can never use. If somebody wanted to be able to help travel on a mission, what could they do to help you right now?
So how I'm dealing with donations. So donations do slow down sometimes during this time. So I'm going to people who have been supporting me in the past. But if you're new and you haven't supported us in the past, we always accept donations. And what I typically do, and I'm still going to do, is I usually go and pick up the donation. The only way we're doing it now is I'm same way the food pantries are doing it. I'll meet it at the door. So if you tell me that you have a donation for me and it's located at whatever your address is, I don't have a problem with coming to get it. I just ask that you leave it on the front porch, and I will pick it up and I will arrange the time, and I'll just go and get it. So just to still keep that social distance. I love to meet everyone who donates, but right now I guess it's not the time. I'll wave to you from the window, which is fine. But that's how we're dealing with still accepting donations. And then when I go to drop the donation off at the different food pantries that we service, it's the same process.
Okay.
It's already bagged up for them, and it's left at the door at a specific time to make sure that somebody's there to get it. And we move forward in that manner until then, because I'm a very, sociable person, and I like to make sure how's everything going, and
Mm,
what are you doing, and how, what are your needs are. But right now, that conversation is being held through the phone or through email until, we get past this situation. And it's just to make sure that I keep myself safe and, and they stay safe. And, there is still a mandate out from the government to do as such.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, if somebody wanted to reach out, help you, and I mean, I'm thinking about the fact that supermarkets are stretched to the max right now. So, donations, from normal food locations may not be able to get into the food pantries right now. How do we reach you in order to be able to help if we can?
And I can definitely give you the link to everything, but you can send me a message through Facebook. My Facebook page is Traveler on a Mission. It's all one word, and I have the messenger set up that way. So if you don't feel comfortable in doing a physical donation, you can also donate online through Facebook or through our website. And the website is TOAM hygiene .com, and you can also send me a text 203-751-0422, and we can work it out. Each situation is different. I know some people who are couponers that do support me. Um, we just have to stay in touch. So if you are a couponer and you'd like to help and make sure that your donation does go to someone in need, um, please let me know, because there's been times that I pick the donation up, I sort it in the car, and I drop it off. So it's not even, there's very little turnaround time. So that's why we're always looking for donations, because it's such a big need, and I do make sure that it goes out to the people, in the Connecticut area as soon as possible. And if you want to have some of your donation go overseas, just let me know that that's what you had anticipated with your donation, and I'll make sure that gets there as well.
Excellent. All right. Well, thank you so much. I think this has been very helpful information. I appreciate your time today. And again, this is Traveler on a Mission. Reach out to them, support them in any way that you can. Let's look out for each other at this time. Thank you so much, Tanea.
Thank you.
All
Appreciate
right.
it.
You take care. All right. Bye
Okay.
bye.